All right, so for our second example, what we're taking a look at is one's about factors. So again, anytime you see these parts here, where it basically has a parentheses and another set of parentheses, we're talking about factors. So big thing that you definitely want to remember, this is something that you have to, know in case for that test, is because when they're talking about factors, they can also talk about zeros. They can also talk about x-intercepts. So basically the process for any question associated with this when it comes to these quadratics is anytime I see a factors, a zeros, or an x-intercept, they're all talking about the same thing. Exactly where does it cross on that x line? So I'm going to show you some strategies again of how to answer these type of star questions here. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we have take a look at is the question. Which statement about g of x equals x squared minus 576 is true? So in other words, which one of these equations, and luckily they give us the equations, and there's a little trick about these with using that calculator that I'm going to show you here as well. So first step. So the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to compare this equation. So I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to graph it first. So it's already g of x. G of x is another way of saying y. So it's already in this term. So basically this means the same thing as y equals. So I'm just going to start it off as x squared minus 576. And then I hit enter. Okay, so now I'm going to compare. So when they say anything about, hey, here's the equation, which one of these kind of matches up, I'm basically going to take my answer choices, what's given here, and match it up from this part. Now, the only issue is 0 and y, they're kind of the same thing here when we're setting up that graphing part. So what we want to do is ignore the 0 equals part because I already said equal to 0, and I just simply have to graph this other section. So I'm going to do parentheses x plus 288. Oops, too many eights. Open parentheses, x minus 288. And then close the parentheses. So now I want to see, does this match up with my given statement here? So here we go. Now, okay, so what happened was I don't see anything, but if you take a look, that's 576. So that's a fairly large graph. So what's going to happen? I'm going to go to the zoom out feature and I'm going to hit enter once. Up, and there it is. Now, if you take a look, it graphed it once. If I hit it one more time, it basically doesn't even show the line. Oh, there we go now. So in other words, was this equation the same thing as this? And the answer is clearly no, because they don't overlap here. So we can easily tell that this is not going to be our answer. So now I'm just going to go to the second one and just take a look. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to keep that first one. I'm going to clear this. So like I said, this is all just a process of elimination to get these questions right. X minus 288. And it has a little 2 up here, so make sure I recognize that. Squared, and then graph. Now, first equation, second equation. So again, it doesn't match up. So we're saying which one is true. So it's not this one. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our third one. Clear? So I'm going to take a look. Okay, so again, 0, another form of y here for our calculator. So I have x plus 24. Close the parentheses. Make sure I type it exactly how I see it. X minus 24, and then close the parentheses again. And then I'm going to hit graph. First equation. Now if you take a look, that blue one, then the red one went right over top. So basically, in other words, this is the one that's going to be true about our zeros, our factors, and our x-intercepts is this equation right here. And that's pretty much it. So again, another graph and match example.